Okay, we've got some cubic and quartic functions revision. For those who are in my class, this is going through the answers for the revision sheet that I handed out. For those who may not be in my class, you might get some benefit from this. Always good to have a go at the questions before I explain it, so you can pause it as we go through. Okay, for the first one, when 5x cubed take away x squared is divided by 5x take away 1, find the remainder, or what is the remainder? We would use the remainder theorem for this. Firstly, what we'll do is we'll take this and set it equal to 0. If we rearrange this to find out what x is equal to, so add 1 to both sides, we end up with 5x is equal to 1. Whoops, this hasn't worked very well, has it? Let me rub that out and do it again. Okay, so add 1 to both sides, we have 5x equals 1, and then divide both sides by 5. That gives us x is equal to 1/5, positive 1/5 that is. What we then do is we take our function of x, which is, what's going on there? X cubed take away x squared, and we substitute x equal to 1/5. So the function of 1/5 will be 5 multiplied by 1/5 cubed take away 1/5 squared, which is equal to 5 multiplied by, now we cube the top and we cube the bottom, so 1 cubed is 1 over 5 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. Take away 1/5 squared, so we'll square the top. 1 times 1 is 1, and 5 squared on the bottom is 25. Now I need to simplify this first bit, so I can go 5 divided by 125, or what goes into both. 5 obviously goes into both, so that 5 will cancel for a 1, and that will leave us with 25 on the bottom. So this will now simplify to become 1 over 25, take away 1 over 25, which equals 0. So we have a 0 remainder by doing it this way. An alternative way you could have done it is you could have factorised the original expression at the beginning, where the function of x was equal to 5x cubed take away x squared. X squared is common to both of those, so if I bring x squared out as a common factor, we would then be left with 5x take away 1 as our alternative method, and then again we substitute x is equal to 1/5. So that will be equal to, the x squared out the front is going to be 1/5 squared multiplied by 5 times by 1/5, take away 1, and that will equal to 1/5 squared is 1 over 25 multiplied by 5 times 1/5 is 1, so this bracket becomes 1 take away 1. 1 take away 1 is 0. So 1 over 25 times by 0 is just going to equal 0. So it's your choice which one of those two ways you want to do it. They both end up with the same result. So I'll just put a box around that alternative method. You can choose which way you want to do it. We'll go on to the next question. Find the result when the polynomial 2x cubed take away 9x squared plus 9x plus 2 is divided by x minus 2. So we need to set up a long division here. Just extend that across a bit more, that's better. So we have x minus 2 divided into 2x cubed take 9x squared plus 9x plus 2. So here we go through this procedure of dividing. What we need to do is we take the first term here and divide it by the first term out the front. So we have 2x cubed divided by x will give us 2x squared. What then happens is that multiplies by everything out the front, so 2x squared times by x brings us back to 2x cubed. The answers go into there. And similarly we go 2x squared times by negative 2, the answer will come down to here. 2x squared by negative 2 is negative 4x squared. So then what we need to do is take that line away from the top line. 2x cubed take away 2x cubed, doesn't look like a 3 does it? That's a 3. 2x cubed take away 2x cubed is 0. That's always your check that it's working. And then we go negative 9x squared take away negative 4x squared is negative 5x squared. And then we'll bring down the 9x. This is just the same as 9x take away 0 is 9x. And you can bring down the 2 now, or you can bring it down later. It doesn't really matter. And I'll change colours so that we can see the different steps that are happening. So now we take this negative 5x squared here and we divide that by the x, which is out the front. So negative 5x squared divided by x is negative 5x. Answer up the top. Then again we multiply that by what's out the front, so negative 5x times by the x at the front is negative 5x squared. And then we go negative 5x times by negative 2 will be positive 10x. And then we take that away from the line above it, so negative 5x squared take away negative 5x squared is 0. And 9x take away 10x gives us negative x. And then 2 take away 0 is 2. Then we'll have one more line to do in there. Hope you can see this. Now we get this negative x here and divide that by the x at the front. So negative x divided by x will give us negative 1. And then same process, the negative 1 gets multiplied by everything out the front. So negative 1 times x is negative x. And negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Take that away from the line above it. Negative x take away negative x is 0. 2 take away 2 is 0. So we end up with 0 remainder. So there's not going to be any remainder at all in this one. We have factors. So the result for the first part here, when excuse me, when x minus 2 is divided by 2x cubed take away 9x squared plus 9x plus 2 is divided by x minus 2. Yeah, I know what I'm saying. The answer is this bit up the top here. So I'll just rewrite that again. Our answer is 2x squared take away 5x take away 1. That's the result. Next question. Express the polynomial 4x cubed take away 12x squared plus 5x plus 6 as a product of 3 linear factors. So we're going to need to factorise this completely. What we need to do is firstly find a factor. And what I'm going to do here is we'll apply the factor theorem. We're going to look for a factor. So identify the plus 6 at the end. What are possible factors of plus 6? Well, we could have 1 by 6 and 2 by 3, negative 1 by negative 6, negative 2 by negative 3. So we've got 1, negative 1, 2, negative 2, 3, negative 3, 6, negative 6 as factors that we can try. So what we then need to do is try them. A bit of trial and error and see what happens. So firstly we'll try x equals 1 for the first one, and that will be equal to 4 times by 1 cubed. Take away 12 times by 1 squared plus 5 times by 1 plus 6. Now we're looking for this to equal 0 if indeed we found a factor, and this will be equal to 4, all the ones simplify down, so it's going to equal 4 take away 12, which is negative 8, plus 5 is negative 3, plus 6 is positive 3, so it doesn't equal 0. So we need to try a different one. If we try -1, simply because it's the next easiest in line, 4 by -1 cubed, take away 12 by -1 squared, plus 5 by -1 plus 6. That will equal -4 plus 12. So -4 plus 12 is 8. 8 plus -5 is 3. Plus 6 doesn't equal 0. So next one we'll try is 2. So the function of 2 is 4 by 2 cubed, take away 12 by 2 squared, plus 5 by 2 plus 6. Now, numbers other than 1 I find a bit hard keeping in my head, so this is going to be 2 cubed is 8, 4 times 8 is 32. Take away 2 squared is 4, 4 times 12 is 48. 5 times 2 is 10. And then we've got the 6 on the end. And if we add those all together, 32 take away 48 is -16, plus 10 is -6, plus 6 is equal to 0. So that means that x minus 2, or x is equal to 2, or rearrange that to make x equal to 0, so x minus 2 equals 0, or x minus 2 is a factor. So once we get that, and I'm just going to reduce all of this working out a little bit if I can, and give me a bit more room, because I now have to go into a long division using x minus 2. So now I've got a bit of space I can work with, set up my long division. So I've got x minus 2 into 4x cubed take 12x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'll change the colour. What we have to do, is we get the 4x cubed and we divide that by the x out the front. So 4x cubed divided by x is 4x squared, and then we multiply that by everything out the front. So 4x squared times by x is 4x cubed, and 4x squared times by -2 is -8x squared. And then what we do is we take that away from the line above it. The first one's always going to be a check. They should be the same, so you multiply back through to check that it is the same. So 4x cubed take away 4x cubed is 0, yes. -12x squared take away -8x squared is -4x squared. And then we have 5x take away 0 underneath it is 5x. And 6 take away 0 is 6. I'll change colours again. And then we go through the same procedure, but we start with the bottom line down here. So -4x squared, divide that by the x out the front, gives you -4x. Again, we times that by everything out the front, so -4x times x is -4x squared. -4x times by -2 is +8x. Same procedure, we need to take that away. So -4x squared take away -4x squared is 0, so it's right. 5x take away 8x is -3x. 6 take away 0 is 6. I'll change colours once more. Then we start with the bottom line down here, -3x divided by the x at the front is -3. And then again we multiply everything through, so -3 times x is -3x. -3 by -2 is +6. Take away, so -3x take away -3x is 0. 6 take away 6 is 0, so that's where we get to at the end. So I'll rewrite our function as function of x is equal to x minus 2 and 4x cubed. Not 4x cubed, I'm getting carried away here. We need to look at the line which is up the top. This bit here goes up there. 4x squared, take away 4x, take 3. Okay. Now the question is saying that we need 3 linear factors, so this second part here can be further factorised. And in order to do that, we can do a little cross multiply. So I'll do that down the bottom here. 4x squared, take 4x, take 3. I'm going to take the first bit here. The factors of that could be 2x times 2x. And the factors of the last part, negative 3, could be negative 3 times by 1. That's what I'll start with. Excuse me, and we'll do a cross multiply. So we go 2x times by 1 is equal to 2x. And we go plus. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Add those two bits together, so negative 2x plus negative 2x plus negative 6x is equal to negative 4x. We compare that with the middle term here, and we see that they are the same. So because they are the same, that means that this top line here becomes a bracket, and this line here becomes a bracket. And that would be a positive one next to that one that's there. If they weren't right, then we would try different factors. We could have tried 4x times by x for the first one. There's not many options that you can do with negative 3 and 1, but you could have tried positive 3 times by negative 1. There's another way. So to finish this question off, back up the top here, it's going to be equal to x minus 2. 2x take 3, which is the top bracket, this one here, and then the bottom one is 2x plus 1. Okay, let's move on. Take away 8. Now, we have a rule where if we have a cubed minus b cubed, this can be factorised as a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. We're going to apply this rule to this particular question here. So in our question we have 27x cubed. That can be simplified down to become 3x all cubed. 3 cubed is 27, and we've got the x cubed. And then we go take away. 8 is 2 cubed. So now what we do is we apply the rule that we have here to this situation. So the a term, or the first bit, is 3x. So our first bracket is going to be 3x, take away, and then the b part is 2. In the second bracket we have the first part, the a part, which is 3x squared, and then plus the first part, or the a part, which is 3x. That's got to be multiplied by the b part, which is 2, and then the last part we have is the b part, which is 2 squared. So I'll just simplify that second bracket. 3x take 2, and 3 squared is 9. Make sure you square the 3 and the x when you're doing this, so 9x squared plus 3 times 2 is 6x plus 4. And that's the answer to that one. Let's move on to the next question. Find the linear factors of x to the 4 take away through 36x squared. Okay, for this particular question, we will need to find the linear factors of x4 take away 36x squared. So if I look at this straight away, I can see that x squared is a common factor, so I'm going to factorise this straight away to x squared, open bracket, x squared, because x squared times x squared is x4, and then take away 36. Now I look at this and I can further simplify this, so we have x squared And then this second bracket is actually a difference of two squares. Now if you remember a difference of two squares, if we have a squared minus b squared, then that's equal to a minus b and a plus b. We apply that to this, so we've now got x squared, x minus 6 and x plus 6. Okay, and if we were going to be solving this, then setting it equal to 0, all the factors for this would be, that's what the question's asking you, if we're finding the factors. So we've got x squared, which is x times by x, and then it's going to be times by x take 6, and it's going to be times by x plus 6. So the list of the factors would be x, there's two of these x's, there's an x minus 6, and there is an x plus 6. And that's that.